Well, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I've got Kim De Boer from the Healing Pendulum. Thank you, Kim, for coming on board.
Well, thank you for having me, Fatima. It's great to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, my name is Kim De Boer. Now, I'm also known as the Alternative Health Detective.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty
yes.
cool name.
Yes, right? Because I find out what's really going on in your body.
Okay.
And so I am the founder of the Healing Pendulum. I am also a #1 best-selling author in Healthy Living, the secrets to natural health and wellness. And I'm also a host of a live radio show called The Healing Pendulum, and it's based out of New York.
Wow, you got a lot of stuff going on. And I know Kim from before. We've worked together many a time, so I'm glad to actually be working with her again.
Yeah.
So now when you talk about you're a detective, what exactly does that mean?
Well, the modality that I use, it's an energy healing modality called the body code. It's the emotion code and the body code, and it was developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, who's a holistic chiropractor. And basically what I do is I connect, maybe not everybody will understand this, but I connect with the subconscious mind, and which I call the Google of the body. Mm-hmm. It knows everything that's going on in the body, and it also knows how to fix it. So what I do is I connect energetically to my client's subconscious, and I go into the body and I just ask the body questions. Like, for instance, if you are experiencing a headache, then I would ask the body, what is the underlying cause of the headache? And it's usually going to be, it's going to be more than one thing. It's not going to be, like, you didn't get enough sleep or whatever. It's going to be a list of 8 to 10 different imbalances in the body that are creating this headache. And what I do is I go in and I release these imbalances using the system that I use. And quite often, and most often, the headache will go away immediately.
Perfect. So I don't know if you know that we're doing a 28-day transform your life. So basically a health challenge to re-metabolize or re-collaborate your body. So do you have any tips that, people can use, anybody can use as to how they can be healthy other than, eating right or, all of that stuff? Do you have some tips that you could share with us?
Well, eating right, eating nutritious foods is definitely something that we all need to do. We need to move our bodies every day. It doesn't have to be an hour, say maybe 20 minutes or something like that. Drink lots of water. Hydration is huge. And also, quite often when we have extra weight on our bodies, it could be from toxicity. So it could be that you're holding on to heavy metal toxins in your body, and you may not know that that's there, and in most cases, people don't. So if you're really having problems losing weight, it's usually because there's some kind of toxicity in the body that that needs to be released, identified and released.
So how would you go about doing that?
Well, for me, I just ask the body, is there any toxicity? And it will actually guide me through my mind maps that I have and tell me that you either you do or you don't. And quite often what I'm finding a lot these days is people have arsenic toxicity. And when that first started showing up, I'm going like, why would so many people have arsenic toxicity? And I did some investigation, and what's happening is people are eating a lot of rice. And arsenic is found in groundwater, and rice is grown in groundwater. And so many people are also going gluten-free and eating a lot more rice products, rice crackers, rice cakes, eating more rice, rice milk. So there's a lot of rice happening, a lot more sushi, all that kind of stuff. And what's happening is this arsenic is building up in the body and wreaking havoc.
So
And
how can one release all of that toxicity?
It's actually quite simple. For the arsenic, what comes up usually as a remedy is to go and have some infrared saunas.
Okay.
Right? So that's a great thing to do, especially if you're doing like your 28-day detox or challenge or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like go and have some saunas, infrared saunas. If you
why infrared saunas and not just a regular sauna?
An infrared sauna actually really gets into your fat cells and into your cells per se, like fat cells, into your bones, whatever, and it really gets deep and really releases all of the toxins from the inside out. Whereas with a regular sauna, it's kind of from the outside. You start sweating from the outside. With this one, like you start sweating from the inside. And what's amazing is that you can have a glass of water in with you. Like, for instance, the temperature could be 130 degrees in an infrared sauna, and you can stay in for 40 minutes to an hour without overheating. And your glass of water actually stays relatively cool. So it's amazing. It's just a different kind of heat. It's I don't actually like to use the term as a microwave, but like the microwave kind of cooks you from inside, cooks the food from inside out.
I guess, yeah, that's a good comparison.
It kind of works like that, but it doesn't cook you. But it really
that's good to know. So then now how does it affect, like anyone taking, say, our USANA multivitamins or our shakes to be working with you with a natural healing modality?
Oh, well, it does, that's great, because part of our overall holistic health is nutrition. So it is, and I know USANA products are great. And we do need extra nutrition. Our body, with the diets the way they are these days, with the environment and all the toxins and environmental stuff going on, we do need to take extra nutrition for our body. And as long as our body is always trying to maintain homeostasis, which is balance.
Okay.
And it'll do whatever it takes to get that balance. So one of the examples I do like to use in that is osteoporosis, for instance. If you're not getting enough calcium or vitamin D or magnesium in your body, your system, your body's actually going to take it out of your bones so that it will maintain homeostasis.
Yeah, and the interesting thing with that is that, from the age of 0 to 30, our bones actually store the calcium. And then after that, like you said, it starts depleting it and, starts pulling out of it, which is very important, especially for women to be taking, calcium, as we age. We've gone through so many different changes in our lives that we do need that extra calcium.
Yes, and not just calcium though, magnesium and vitamin D is actually the most important vitamin that we should be taking. And a lot of people are depleted from vitamin D because we're wearing sunscreen, we're wearing sunglasses, we're wearing hats, we're wearing, people are avoiding the sun. And the sun is really, the best form of natural vitamin D that we can get. So like 20 minutes in the sun without any protection is really what we need.
And I guess living here in Vancouver, it's a little bit tough.
It is. Well, it has been a good summer, but we're going into winter. So, right? So we do need to take supplements. And it's almost more important than calcium.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question for you. So how would you actually test if a person had toxins in their body?
I do use a pendulum to do my testing. And I just, connect with the subconscious. So if anybody would want to know, I do a health assessment. That's one of the things that I do offer is a health assessment. That goes through, checking your immune system, see if it's functioning at 100%, if you have any toxicity, if you have any pathogens in your body. Also, because quite often you might have a viral infection or a parasitic infection or, you know, a bacterial or a fungal infection that's just low grade.
Okay.
And that will also prevent you from losing weight. And that quite often happens. It's running at a low grade. You go to the doctor, they're not going to detect it because it's not going to show up on the test that they do. But in the subconscious knows that it's there. So it could be running, say, out of a 4 out of 10, 10 being the worst. And so it's really wreaking havoc in the body. Mm-hmm. And the body's always, again, trying to maintain homeostasis. So what happens is the body builds more fat cells to protect the organs from either the heavy metal toxins or from the pathogens. So, and there's different remedies for the pathogens. Everybody's different. Mm-hmm. So, but usually pretty easy to get rid of, like to kill and get out of the system.
Interesting. Are you able to sort of demonstrate it on me if
I can.
All right. At least they know what they're looking at.
Yes. Okay. So, okay. So I'm just going to move a little bit here. So this is my pendulum, and this is just an extension of muscle testing. And I think a lot of people know muscle testing, where if you know if it's the answer is yes, it's strong. If the answer is no, there's no way that you're going to hold your arm up. And you know, if you've gone to naturopaths or whatever, they usually do the muscle testing. So I use a pendulum, and this is my yes or my strong answer per se, and when it changes, this is a no. So when it goes back and forth, the answer is no. So what I can ask for you, Fatima, I'm going to ask, of course, with your permission, to connect with you energetically.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to be what we call proxy. So I'm going to connect with your energy. So can I be proxy for Fatima? And as you can see, it's going in a circle. So that means that it's a yes. So now when I say my name is Kim, it actually changes to a no. And I know you saw my hand move a little bit, but that's just the momentum of the pendulum. And so now when I say my name is Fatima, it goes yes. So now I'm energetically connected to you. So all I need to do is ask. So, so Fatima, do you have any heavy metal toxicity in your body? And I'm getting a yes. So you do have heavy metal.
So that's, whoa.
It's a big yes. So now what we need to do is find out, you know, what it is. So there are lots of different metals, but I'll just go through some of the most common. So is it mercury? It's not mercury. Is it aluminum? No. Is it cadmium? No. And it is actually arsenic.
Rice.
Rice. Do you eat a lot of rice?
Not a lot, but I do eat some rice, maybe once or twice a week.
Okay. It's rice. It's arsenic, and it's strong. So now that I find out on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's an 8. So
it's pretty strong.
It's strong. And so when we have these heavy metals in our body, it doesn't really matter what we do. We can do all the right things, like, you know, eat properly, we can exercise, you know, do everything that we think that, you know, we should be doing to lose some weight, and it won't happen. Have you found that? Is it difficult for you to lose weight?
Yes. I mean, I've lost a good amount of weight, but not where I want to be.
Right, right. And so because these metals, the body just keeps building more fat cells to protect your inner organs from these metals. Mm-hmm. So let's just see whether a remedy of infrared saunas for you would, and it's gonna, yes, it is. So for you, it would be to cut down or to actually eliminate rice products. Yes. Strong yes. And to, let's see how many saunas that you would need to have. So would it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'd be 8 saunas. So 8 infrared saunas, and just, eliminate rice products.
Okay.
And that will release all of that arsenic from your system. And look at how happy.
That's a pretty happy face.
Thank you. So, and then we can actually check for some pathogens, and actually I'm getting a no. So you don't have any pathogens. So no mold, no bacterial infection, no fungal infection, no parasites. So that's really good. But there's just that heavy metal.
Okay. That's really good to know.
It's really good to know because most people don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes we need to take a supplement. I recommend like a heavy metal detox, but that's generally, it's a herbal remedy, and that's usually for if you've got mercury or cadmium or something like that. But for arsenic, I'm just finding that usually it's infrared saunas.
Perfect.
Easy. Yeah, and great. It's great for your skin, great for the rest of your body. Yeah.
Definitely. So another thing that I actually read, I just recently read in what your clutter is telling you is that, there's different types of clutter. You see like the clutter around you, your physical clutter. You also have emotional clutter. So that's, where you sort of specialize. And then there's also, with the emotional clutter, there's, a lot of hidden things that also, your weight is a part of clutter.
Yes. Yes.
So that's kind of interesting to see how that works. You could probably explain it a little bit better on that.
Oh, sorry. So we do, clutter, any kind of clutter is detrimental to our health, basically. So whether it's physical or mental, it affects our well-being. Mm-hmm. So I work with a lot of emotional, we call baggage, same thing, clutter or baggage, and it's events that can even be inherited. Mm-hmm. So we're born with them. And, they're just running in the background, different emotions. And then there's different, emotions that occur, and they can clump together. They can, they build up. It's like peeling an onion. Mm-hmm. So, you've got all these emotions here, and you really do need to get the core issue, which is in the center. But when you have all of these trapped emotions, it'll prevent you from moving forward in life. Mm-hmm. Like it can be paralyzing. And, what I'm really focusing on these days is releasing the heart wall. And just to explain a little bit about that, the heart wall is a wall that the subconscious builds around the heart, initially to protect it from being broken. Mm-hmm. And that's from past events and past traumas that have occurred in our life, previously, or even in our ancestors' life. And it just keeps building up and building up and building up over time, and it just becomes this huge weight.
So does that actually add to like your physical weight? Or there's obviously some underlying reason why, people put on those extra pounds, unknowingly or knowingly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people have emotional eating. Mm-hmm. So, depending, could be stuff that happened in their childhood. And so they can be addicted to sugar, they can have emotional eating, whatever. And when you release those emotions that are connected to whatever the event that happened, those symptoms go away. Mm-hmm. So, the emotional eating, it just goes away. You don't need that comfort, to hide or bury mm-hmm. Whatever happened in your childhood.
Excellent. So, as you guys know, we're sort of we're almost at the tail end of our 28-day transformation. So, like with the multivitamins, the USANA multivitamins, I'm sure you're noticing a huge difference just because you're getting the nutrients now you've got another tool with Kim who basically gives you another way to transform your life, which is really cool. And they're all interconnected, which is nice.
Yeah, it's holistic. So, you know, we need, like you say, we need nutrition, and USANA products are great. We need the emotional release to release all of those, you know, trapped emotions that we have in our life. You know, we need really good hydration. We need exercise. And it's just like if one is out of balance, and it's all about balance. So if one side is out of balance, then it pushes the other side out of balance as well. So we really do need to work on all of those things.
Perfect. Do you have any tips or, you know, any points of wisdom where you can, you know, say, hey, well, this is coming on, what should I do?
Well, what I always tell people, there's a couple things. Okay, so we need to listen to our bodies. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that constantly. Our bodies are always talking to us. So, you know, when you get an ache or a pain, or there's something just different that's going on in your body, listen to it. Don't ignore it, because it's trying to tell you something. And when there is a pain, or, you know, something that's different that's happening in your body, there's an imbalance. Like, it's coming from an imbalance. So, you know, I use the example, like, we have the emotions, all of these negative emotions I'm talking about have connections to all of your organs, mm-hmm. certain organs. Like anger is liver and gallbladder, and anxiety is the stomach. And so those emotions are connected, and the organs that they're connected to also have a muscle connection. Mm-hmm. So the gallbladder is connected to the muscle behind the right knee. So whenever you're getting an ache or a pain or something that just comes out of the blue and you really don't know, you know, where it's coming from, then you really should not ignore it. And that's just something that all of us need to pay more attention to, including myself, right? And another tip is, and especially when you're doing a challenge and you're doing like maybe dietary restrictions or that kind of thing, it's concentrate or really focus on what you can have or what you can eat, as opposed to what you can't have or can't eat. Mm-hmm. Because that puts you, if you're concentrating or focusing on what you can't have, it's going to put you in deprivation. Mm-hmm. And it's going to make it really, really difficult to succeed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are definitely excellent points to keep in mind, you know, for everyone, whether they're doing, you know, the 28-day transformation, or they're just, you know, looking for an overall, you know, change in their life.
Yeah.
Those are excellent tips to keep in mind. Did you have anything else that you would like to say to our viewers?
Well, you know, I would just like to say that there's no need for any of us to suffer. You know, like, so many people suffer, they have so much pain and they have so much anxiety and all of that. And a lot of, you know, a lot of us don't know what to do about it. So we're turning to drugs. We're turning to, you know, suffering from headaches or aches and pains, and we're just taking Tylenol to suppress those symptoms. And that is all it's doing, is suppressing the symptoms. So we really do need to get to the core of why that's actually happening. And it's very simple to do. And we don't need to, you know, keep suppressing these imbalances with drugs and pills and that kind of stuff. So there's really, my message is, there's just, you know, we do have control of our own health. And we just need to, you know, find that power within us to take those steps. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I like that, you know, we have control over our own health. Because at the end of the day, our health is our wealth and our body is our temple.
Yeah, you're right on that. And we all have the, you know, we all have the power within us to and the courage to, you know, to change our lives, to change a few things. And even if it's just something really, really small, mm-hmm. It's just taking steps in that direction. We don't have to just go crazy and change everything all at once, but it's just taking baby steps. You know, it'll just Yeah, the reward is amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. Well, thank you so much, Kim, for taking the time out, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you very much for inviting me.